Terrified to put me in handcuffs? I'm telling you, I have all your files. The minute you come after me, you have to answer for the files that I have. Files from Mustafa Al-Jazari, where every police report is falsified. I have the body cams, where it shows police officer engage in falsifying police misconduct.
Is Mustafa okay right now?
Yeah, no, he's not all right.
There are new questions being raised in the case of a man charged with for a crash that killed his girlfriend and her 5-year-old daughter last year.
This is public area.
Come after Prince William's police chief ruled the investigating officer had violated department policy.
I'm not resisting. I am not resisting.
The investigation revealed that Master Police Officer Drum violated department policy.
Right rear tire, brake, didn't engage.
We were able to access evidence.com. Chief of Police Peter Newsham, are you terrified to come after me? Are you terrified to put me in handcuffs? I'm telling you, I have all your files. The minute you come after me, you have to answer for the files that I have. Files from Mustafa Al-Jazari, where every police report is falsified. I have the body cams, where it shows police officer engage in falsifying police misconduct.
Is Mustafa okay right now?
Yeah, no, he's not all right.
There are new questions being raised in the case of a man charged with for a crash that killed his girlfriend and her 5-year-old daughter last year.
This is public area.
Come after Prince William's police chief ruled the investigating officer had violated department policy.
I'm not resisting. I am not resisting.
The investigation revealed that Master Police Officer Drum violated department policy.
Right rear tire, brake, didn't engage.
We were able to access evidence.com. Chief of Police Peter Newsham, are you terrified to come after me? Are you terrified to put me in handcuffs? I'm telling you, I have all your files. The minute you come after me, you have to answer for the files that I have. Files from Mustafa Al-Jazari, where every police report is falsified. I have the body cams, where it shows police officer engage in falsifying police misconduct.
Is Mustafa okay right now?
Yeah, no, he's not all right.
There are new questions being raised in the case of a man charged with for a crash that killed his girlfriend and her 5-year-old daughter last year.
This is public area.
Come after Prince William's police chief ruled the investigating officer had violated department policy.
I'm not resisting. I am not resisting.
The investigation revealed that Master Police Officer Drum violated department policy.
Right rear tire, brake, didn't engage.
We were able to access evidence.com. Chief of Police Peter Newsham, are you terrified to come after me? Are you terrified to put me in handcuffs? I'm telling you, I have all your files. The minute you come after me, you have to answer for the files that I have. Files from Mustafa Al-Jazari, where every police report is falsified. I have the body cams, where it shows police officer engage in falsifying police misconduct. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa threw the police body cams. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. The name for this podcast is Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope, but I think we might have to change the name of the podcast. What am I talking about? It's not 100%. We're finding out. that Judge Carol Weimer might be recusing himself from the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. What am I talking about? Mustafa's defense attorney is Brad Haywood. Brad Haywood 5 times scheduled an appointment with the prosecutor, Sarah Sammy, in good faith. And 5 times this prosecutor canceled. What is he scheduling an appointment for? Brad Haywood wants to hire an independent expert to inspect the SD card on the dash camera. Mustafa has a dash camera inside his vehicle. And this dash camera, the Commonwealth attorney is telling us, does not have audio. This dash camera is cut before impact. This dash camera has 17 frames that are missing from the lens facing inside the vehicle, while the lens facing outward is still rolling. That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't have audio. It's cut before impact. 17 frames are missing. What is going on in the dash camera that's in Mustafa's vehicle? Mustafa had this dash camera for over 5 years. And now you're talking about a dash camera that has no audio and it's cut before impact. 17 frames are missing. Well, when you find out that investigator Chad Mason gets on the stand in front of Judge Carol Weimer and admit to violating department policy, Chad Mason says he took the SD cards and he violated department policy. How did he violate department policy? He said, I did not follow the chain of custody. The most crucial piece of evidence, you didn't follow chain of custody, that he said he took the SD card and plugged it into his laptop. Well, sir, today we have a dash camera that has no audio and it's cut before impact. And there are 17 frames missing from the camera facing inside the vehicle. By law, Mustafa's defense attorney wants to get to the bottom of it by hiring an independent expert, inspect the SD card, and find out what happened. Specifically, when in Mustafa Al-Jazari file, there's a document where Officer Zymus with digital forensic admit to this dash camera that it does have audio. So wait a minute. Our Commonwealth attorney, Amy Ashworth, tell us that it doesn't have audio, but then our police department, they tell us that it does have audio. And we're going to pull up the document and go over it. Mustafa's defense attorney the prosecutor is blocking the defense attorney from hiring an independent expert. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy and Commonwealth Amy Ashworth is blocking Mustafa's defense attorney from inspecting the SD card. Now, when you find out that the investigator, Chad Mason, gets on the stand and he said, I violated department policy. I took the SD card and plugged it into my laptop. What did you do to this dash camera, sir? Because today we have a dash camera that does not have audio and is cut before impact. And it has 17 frames that are missing from the camera facing inside the vehicle. Now the prosecutor is blocking the defense attorney from inspecting the SD card. Now, we can get to the bottom of it. It's a very simple process. Mustafa's defense attorney, by law, can hire an independent expert that will inspect the SD card and inspect the metadata in the SD card. And is going to tell you if this investigator tampered with the dash camera. The metadata on the SD card will tell you so. And if the SD card is not tampered with, then he should be able to download the audio that Officer Zymas admit that they have. And will be able to download the full dash camera. Not a dash camera that's cut before impact. Not a dash camera that has 17 frames missing from the lens facing inside the vehicle. But the prosecutors are scrambling. The county is scrambling. They're terrified. So what are they doing? They're blocking the defense attorney from getting an independent expert to inspect the SD card. I mean, why is it that Mustafa's defense attorney has a motion on the docket through chambers and they've been sitting on it for weeks now? So first, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy cancels 5 appointments that Mustafa's defense attorney schedules with her. So not once, not twice, 5 times. This defense attorney schedules an appointment with the prosecutor and she cancels on him. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, if you have nothing to hide, why aren't you not letting Mustafa's defense attorney get an independent expert and take a look at the SD card? Specifically, when we have a document, let me pull up a document, the Officer Zymas admit that this dash camera does have audio. Now, you're claiming that Mustafa is arguing inside the vehicle. Well, when we open this dash camera, we see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth hemp, a cigarette, 6 times. You say they're arguing inside the vehicle, but when we open this dash camera, we see them passing back and forth a cigarette 6 times. We're not seeing the argument that you claim that we were going to find. You've lied about the content of the dash camera. Are we talking about the dash camera that you've hid from this community to today? You've sealed this dash camera? Unfortunately for you, we've leaked it. Now the community is watching this dash camera. You can go on YouTube under Not Another Boring Podcast, and you can see the dash camera where you see Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette 6 times. This prosecutor wants to tell you they're arguing, but when we watch this dash camera, we see that Dorothy and Mustafa are passing back and forth a cigarette. Interesting. So they're not arguing. You tell us there is no audio, but then when we open the file, there's a document that we see. This is Officer Zymas with Digital Forensic.
My name is Katie Zamas. I'm a detective in digital forensics on the Prince William County Police Department.
So Officer Zamas inspected Mustafa's vehicle, inspected Mustafa's dash camera. And she found that this dash camera does have audio. This is a document that Officer Zamas put in Mustafa's file on April 24, 2023. Officer Zamas says, although the last several videos recorded on the device did not appear to have sound, the sound records feature on the device was turned on. And then she goes on and she says, which showed that the file did have an audio track. Now, as a Commonwealth attorney who's telling us that Mustafa is arguing inside the vehicle, now your digital forensic is telling you, ma'am, there's an audio track in this dash camera. Wouldn't you think, as a Commonwealth attorney, you would invest in getting this dash camera, getting the SD card inspected? You would think the Commonwealth attorney would hire and invest money to get to the bottom of where's the audio. Instead, the Commonwealth attorney does a 360, and what she does is she hires a lip reader. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Your officer, your digital forensic police officer is telling you that this dash camera does have audio. And instead, you hire a lip reader. Well, that's interesting because when we open the file, your lip reader is not lip reading an argument. How could your lip reader lip read an argument if there is no argument? I mean, literally, when you open the dash camera, you see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette. What this Commonwealth attorney is doing, Amy Ashworth, is attempting to conditionally enter the dash camera into the record. What does that mean? Now, she sealed it from the community. The community is not going to see this dash camera. And if it wasn't for us leaking it, you wouldn't see what is going on in Mustafa's vehicle. And you would be left with the Commonwealth attorney telling you that they're arguing inside the vehicle. The Commonwealth attorney wants to take it a step further. Not only that you can't see the dash camera, she wants to conditionally enter this dash camera. What that means is the jury, she doesn't want the jury to see the dash camera. She brought herself a bullshit lip reader. She wants to take this dash camera out of context, only enter a couple of seconds into the jury, into where the jury only sees a couple of seconds. So they're not going to see the full dash camera. I wonder why, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, you're terrified to have this jury see the full dash camera. Oh, is it because if you literally rewind it 30 seconds, you're going to see Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette? If you rewind it another 30 seconds, you're going to see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth the cigarette. If you fast forward this 30 seconds, if you fast forward this a minute, 2 minutes, Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette 6 times. And in between, what this prosecutor wants to do is cut this dash camera, and she doesn't want the jury to see the full dash camera. She wants them to see a couple of seconds. And in those couple of seconds that she takes out of context, she wants to bring a bullshit lip reader that's going to tell the jury, Dorothy says, I want to get out of the car. Wait a minute. Literally, if you rewind this dash camera 30 seconds, you're going to see Dorothy and Mustafa are passing back and forth a cigarette. If you fast forward this 30 seconds, you're going to see Mustafa and Dorothy passing back and forth a cigarette. Wait a minute. Your lip reader is not lip reading an argument. You're telling us that they're arguing inside the vehicle, but your lip reader is not lip reading an argument. How could you lip read an argument when they're literally passing back and forth a cigarette? There is no argument to lip read. So what does he say? Oh, Dorsey says, I want to get out of the car. And the only way he can get away with saying it is if the prosecutor takes this dash camera out of context. Because when you watch the full dash camera, you're going to tell this prosecutor, you're lying to us. You're going to tell this lip reader, you're bullshitting us. And that's why the dash camera is sealed. And that's why now she wants to enter conditionally. I mean, she's not going to be able to get away with it. She's attempting to. Officer Zymus tells us there is an audio. But this prosecutor, and instead of investing in a digital forensic expert to inspect the SD card, who, by the way, her police officer, Chad Mason, says, I did not follow the chain of custody. I violated department policy by taking the SD card and plugging it into my laptop. And what we're finding out, that he downloaded the dash camera off the SD card, and he's the one that uploaded it to the server. So, to get to the bottom of it, you can hire an independent expert to see what did Chad Mason do with the SD card. Did he can inspect, the independent expert is going to be able to inspect the metadata off the SD card. We're going to get to the bottom whether this investigator tampered with the SD card, and if not, and if he just downloaded the videos and then tampered with them and then uploaded them to the server, to the police department server, well, the SD card is going to tell you whether the metadata will tell you whether this dash camera is tampered with. And if it's not tampered with, then the independent expert should be able to download the audio and the full dash camera. Prosecutor Sarah Sami is terrified. 5 times, Mustafa's defense attorney, Brad Haywood, this prosecutor canceled 5 appointments. I mean, to the point that this defense attorney, he says, you give someone the benefit of the doubt until you can't give them the benefit of the doubt anymore. He said, I have to fight to get to the SD card. I mean, why does this defense attorney have to fight his way through the courts to get access to the SD card? What is this prosecutor so terrified that we're going to find on the SD card? We're going to get to the bottom of it. By law, Mustafa can hire an independent expert. Mustafa's defense attorney can hire an independent expert to look and inspect the SD card. Prosecutor Sarah Sami, we're going to get the SD card, whether you like it or not. And I promise you, ma'am, you're going to end up in federal prison. The file is leaked on the internet. There's nowhere to hide, ma'am. We're going to have access to the SD card, and we're going to look at what Chad Mason did to Mustafa's dash camera. And I'll tell you something that's really interesting. Chad Mason, I'll tell you these people are they're not sleeping at night. Because it's one thing to get on this podcast and say that Chad Mason said that in a motion to dismiss, got on the stand, and he said, I violated department policy. It's another thing when I'm going to release his voice when he's sitting in front of Judge Carol Weimer. This is Judge Carol Weimer. Let's pull him up so that way we know who we're talking about. I mean, Judge Carol Weimer is so comfortable that he has an investigator that sits in front of him that tells him, I violated department policy. I mean, the file is sealed. You're not going to hear what is going on in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. So when this judge, he has Chad Mason on the stand, and he tells him, I violated department policy. I didn't follow the chain of custody for the most crucial piece of evidence. And today he took the SD card, he plugged it into his laptop. He's comfortable because Sheriff Glenn Hill rolls in a giant machine, making sure that no one records, which I remind everybody is a public hearing. Why are they so terrified that they roll in? I mean, you only see that in Mustafa's case, by the way. Out of all the cases, Sheriff Glenn Hill will roll in a giant machine to make sure that they'll inspect you from head to toe to make sure that you're not recording these proceedings. But I'll tell you one thing. There are deputy sheriffs that are watching and are not okay with this level of police misconduct. We have the audio. We've been supplied with the audio. We're going to leak this audio where Judge Carol Weimer hears Chad Mason tell him, I violated department policy. I did not follow chain of custody in the most important piece of evidence. The most crucial piece of evidence is a dash camera. He plugged it into his laptop. And today we have a dash camera that has no audio. It's cut before impact. And it has 17 frames missing from the camera facing inside the vehicle. And this judge, he lets him get away with it because Sheriff Glenn Hill is rolling down this machine, making sure that no one is recording this proceeding. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth has sealed off the case. So no one's going to find out what this investigator has done in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. But we have the audio. We're going to leak this audio. And this community is going to hear Chad Mason admit to tampering with this dash camera.
Years.
Now, Judge Carol Weimer, on his watch, is also watching the police department weaponize and tamper with the kids, weaponize those kids against Mustafa. Dorothy, Mustafa's girlfriend, has a 9-year-old, has a 10-year-old, and has a 14-year-old. And what we're finding out in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, that these children have been weaponized by Investigator Romero. I mean, this is a giant claim. When I tell you that children have been weaponized against Mustafa, you ask me, what is your evidence? I mean, this case is sealed, and there is no way you can verify what is going on in this case. But now it's unsealed. It's leaked on the internet. You have forensic interviews where the children in the forensic interview are telling you that police lied to us. What am I talking about? I'm going to play a portion from the forensic interview where Javen, Dorothy's 14-year-old child, is talking about the investigator told him, the investigator Romero told him that Mustafa ran away, left your 5-year-old baby sister to bleed to death, and that they could have saved her if it wasn't for Mustafa running away. 14-year-old Javen, in a forensic interview, says that. Now, we have evidence that Mustafa was in and out of consciousness. At one point, Mustafa went into a coma. Mustafa was helicoptered to the hospital. So why is Javen told that Mustafa ran away, left his 5-year-old baby sister, and to bleed to death? They could have saved her. They're weaponizing the children. I mean, this is a giant claim. But we have the file. We're leaking it on the internet. And we're getting to the bottom of what they're doing in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. I mean, when you look at this is the definition of child abuse. When you talk to the chief of police, at one point, he tells Mustafa's brother, Muhammad, that he is so comfortable charging Mustafa with premeditated murder. Oh, interesting. How does that make any sense? The dash camera show it's a vehicle accident. The dash camera showed that the prosecutor lied about the argument inside the vehicle. There is no argument inside the vehicle. The computer inside the vehicle showed that Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. There's a Google Nest video that shows Mustafa loves his family. This is a vehicle accident. But you've got the chief of police telling Mustafa's brother that he is comfortable with charging Mustafa with murder. And then you find out the reason this chief of police is so comfortable is because the Commonwealth attorney sealed off the file. But when you open the file, now it's leaked on the internet, you find out that investigator Romero weaponized the children against Mustafa. I have the forensic interview where the child himself is talking about investigator Romero told him that Mustafa ran away, left your 5-year-old baby sister to bleed to death. Mustafa was in a coma. Mustafa was helicoptered to the hospital. Now, let's look at the chief of police talk to Muhammad, and we're going to get to the bottom of what is going on in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case.
to me.
You know,
This is Muhammad having a conversation with the chief of police, and he's telling him, let's see if you go over to exhibits. There we go. Chief of police tells Muhammad he's very comfortable There we go.
Somebody charged with murder while their vehicle is tampered like this, and then the officer lies.
So Muhammad is telling chief of police, this is Chief of Police Peter Newsham. Muhammad is telling him that your police department cut and staged the vehicle. We have evidence that the vehicle has been staged. They take the vehicle, they chop it up, they stage it to make it look like a head-on collision. We have pictures after the accident, and we have pictures inside the police department. We have evidence that this investigator falsified Mustafa's statements. Literally, this investigator, Robert Drum, falsified Mustafa's statements. This investigator said, "You told me you were arguing inside the vehicle." There's an audio of the conversation. Mustafa never said that, but he put that in the police report. He falsified Mustafa's statements.
Very comfortable with your brother being charged under the circumstances and the evidence that we have. Very comfortable.
I'm sure you are. That's why you have a case.
Like I said,
Chief of Police Peter Newsham says, "I'm very comfortable charging your brother with the evidence that we have." Well, we're going to dive into Mustafa Al-Jazari case, and we're going to see what is Chief of Police Peter Newsham talking about. Because when we open the file, we see that they've weaponized the children against Mustafa. And here you have a chief of police that's so comfortable, the file is sealed. You can't get to the bottom of it. I can't get to the bottom of it. You don't have access to the file. The Commonwealth Attorney, Amy Ashworth, sealed it off. But now that we have it, now that we've leaked it on the internet, we can get to the bottom of what they've done. And why is this chief of police so comfortable? Oh, that's right. You're comfortable because you weaponized the children against Mustafa. Your investigator Romero, is telling kids that Mustafa ran away, left your 5-year-old baby sister to bleed to death. They could have saved her. Well, Mustafa's in a coma. Mustafa's being helicoptered to the hospital. Are you comfortable now, Chief of Police Peter Newsham, that the file is leaked? How comfortable are you now? I mean, we watch you on video and you're very comfortable. Are you comfortable now? Can you sleep at night, Chief of Police Peter Newsham, knowing that the community is watching, that your police department falsified this whole entire case? That your police officers weaponized children, a 9, a 10, a 14.
you can disagree with me, and like I said, you can dislike me, but that doesn't mean
I don't dislike you, but I would like you to do the right thing. You're off. Okay, let me just hold on.
We have done the right thing.
The evidence was not preserved, sir. I'm just going to tell you before you leave.
I wish you and your family the very best
before you
in this
leave.
endeavor, and I wish you.
Before you leave, I want to say 3 things to you. Okay, the dash cam was cut before impact. Okay, Robert Drum told Casey Stevens, the lawyer, he told him he had the audio. In court, he says there was no audio. No.
The dash camera is cut before impact. They muted the audio. They're so comfortable. I mean, they weaponized the children, chopped up the dash camera, crushed and staged the vehicle, and they sealed off the file so no one can get to the bottom of it. And then you watch this chief of police so comfortable. Well, now it's leaked, and we can get to the bottom of it.
Number 2, the vehicle was crushed. You guys have an obligation to preserve evidence especially somebody that's charged with murder. You have an obligation to preserve the evidence. It hasn't been preserved.
And all this
Number
information
three,
can come out in
sir.
trial.
Number three, your officer flat out lied. He has it on his body cam recorded, and you refused to fix the issue. He lied on the report based on that conversation.
That is your opinion.
That's not my opinion. That's a fact. I got a letter from you. I have a letter from you.
It's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
I have a letter from you stating that you're investigating.
I'm entitled to it.
You're not entitled to yours as a personal person. You're the chief of police.
Please respect my opinion. I'm respecting yours.
Can you send us a letter saying you've concluded your investigation?
Have a good night.
So that we know where you stand on this?
This is during a jail board meeting. This happened on January 17, 2024. Now, we've taken this information to NBC4, Julie Carey, and we've told her that we have evidence that the police department has falsified this case. Has weaponized, the police department weaponized the children against Mustafa. There's a Google Nest video inside the apartment that shows the children love Mustafa until investigator Romero got involved, weaponized the children against Mustafa. This is Julie Carey. Let's go over to Julie Carey with NBC4.
Their mother and sister died.
And the reason this is relevant is Julie Carey, you haven't heard anything from Julie Carey. I mean, Julie Carey reported on the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, and now that the file is leaked on the internet, she hasn't updated this community. Does Julie Carey have an obligation to update this community? I mean, Julie Carey hasn't told this community that there's a Google Nest videos inside the apartment that shows it's a beautiful relationship. There is a forensic interview that shows that the police department weaponized the children in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Why is Julie Carey not telling this community that the police department weaponized the children? And the question is Julie Carey protecting the police department? Well, let's take a look at Julie Carey and find out together. This is Julie Carey being told that we have evidence, and we're showing her the forensic interview. So she can't say, I don't know. This is a video where she's watching the forensic interview. We're going to play that video, and then we're going to dive into what the children are talking about.
That's bad if it's true. I haven't heard that. But I'm sure if it happened and if the defense attorney hears that, the defense attorney will exploit that fact.
Okay. It's a very short clip, to be honest with you. And that is child abuse. For a detective, the detectives fully know that Mustafa was airlifted to the hospital. They know that. They know that they investigated a DUI. They cleared him after drawing his blood, that there's no alcohol, no drugs. And now for the same detectives to tell the children that your sister died because Mustafa crashed his car, killed your mom, and then he left your little sister to die.
Well, Ken, I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that.
That's child abuse.
So no one should be putting video of these kids into
exactly. But when you're cornered in this position, they are nonetheless witnesses that have been tampered with. I mean, okay.
If that is true, that'll come out at trial.
There's no difference between the mafia when they.
I need to get back into court.
Yes,
I've got to do some things on this case today. So
this is it.
This is a video where Julie Carey first says, I haven't heard or seen what you're talking about. Police department weaponized the children in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. I haven't heard or seen it. And then Muhammad tells her, Mustafa's brother tells her, I have the evidence. I want to show it to you. And then she circles back and she says, no one is supposed to put videos of forensic interviews on the internet. Wait a minute. This is evidence that the police department have weaponized the children in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. You go to the chief of police, he doesn't want to listen. You go to the Commonwealth attorney, she looks the other way. And we're coming to you, Julie Carey, who reported on the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. And you can't say that you don't know that this happened because you're watching. We shared this information with you. We shared these forensic interviews with you. A 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old is weaponized. You want to flip the script and say, no one should put this on the internet. Well, what would you do, ma'am? The police department engaged in child abuse. Lied to the children in their most vulnerable state. Dragged them in a forensic interview after they had lied to them and weaponized them against Mustafa. The chief of police looks the other way. The Commonwealth attorney looks the other way. And what do you want us to do? Oh, it's going to come out during trial. Is it? Is it going to come out during trial? Because last time I checked, every bond hearing that we go to, Judge Carol Weimer is protecting this prosecutor when she lies about the children. The Google Nest videos, there's Google Nest videos inside the apartment. The day of the accident, the day before, and the day before. So far, it's been 2.5 years, and these Google Nest videos have not been on the record. So when you sit there and say, it's going to come out during trial, what do you mean? What are you talking about? This is a sealed file. Judge Carol Weimer is allowing the prosecutor to lie. The Commonwealth attorney refused to put the evidence on the record. So is it going to come out during trial? Now, why haven't you updated the community that these children are being abused? Are you protecting the police department? Well, now that we know you know, and this community is watching, that you know that this police department have engaged in abusing the children and weaponizing the children in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. The question is, why haven't you updated the community? Julie Carey's phone number with NBC4, and I ask everybody to reach out to Julie Carey and ask her, why hasn't she updated you on what they're doing in this case? Is it not child abuse to lie to a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old, drag them through the forensic interview after you lied to them? Is that not child abuse? Or whatever it takes, as long as you get Mustafa, even if you have to abuse children in the process. And Julie Carey is going to look the other way to protect the police department. Julie Carey's cell phone number is 202-359-8997. Julie Carey with NBC4. Her cell phone number is 202-359-8997. Now let's watch the forensic interview that Julie Carey has and watched and is looking the other way to protect the police department. This is the forensic interview of Javen, the 14-year-old child. Well, where in the interview, this child says, the police department investigator told me that Mustafa ran away, left my 5-year-old baby sister to bleed to death. We could have saved her if it wasn't for Mustafa. Mustafa was in a coma. Mustafa was in and out of consciousness. At one point, he went into a coma. He was helicoptered to the hospital. Why are you weaponizing this child? Let's watch what Javen is telling us.
When they got into the car crash, the detective said he jumped out and ran, left my baby sitting there. And if he just thought to bring her to the hospital. Maybe she would have made it, but she didn't because he decided to be a coward, and now she's gone. And now all I have is my two brothers. She was the sweetest. She would never even hurt a fly. She was innocent too. 25. And my mom's gone. Now she's gone. It's because of one man that I trusted. Because my mom kept on telling me he's a good guy. I kept on saying, okay. Alright, I told her, I had my suspicions, and I should have went with my gut. I knew something wasn't right, and I still believed her, and that's why they're gone today.
I mean, listen to what he said. Listen to what he says. This child says, Ma, I always trusted Mustafa. Mom always told me to trust Mustafa. This gives you insight into the kind of relationship that he has with Mustafa. This gives you insight into the kind of relationship that Mustafa had with his mom. He's telling you, I always trusted Mustafa. At what point did that trust break? Investigator told me that Mustafa ran away, left my 5-year-old baby sister to bleed to death. And if it wasn't for him running away, they could have saved her. Wait a minute. Why are you telling this child that Mustafa ran away when Mustafa was in and out of consciousness and he went into a coma? This is a hospital document. This is a hospital document that reads, final diagnosis, concussion with loss of consciousness of 30 minutes. Mustafa went into a coma. Mustafa was in and out of consciousness. Mustafa was helicoptered to the hospital. The off-duty paramedic says Mustafa believes that he's in 2021 and Obama is the president. This vehicle accident happened in 2023, April 5th, 2023. Mustafa thinks he's in 2021. Let's listen to the off-duty paramedics and what the off-duty paramedics is talking about.
Stories. All right. Hey, there's the mission camp. No mission, no.
Started assessing the gentleman.
And did he say anything?
He didn't say anything. Didn't know what was happening. Thought Obama was still the president. That was 2022. So it's a little incoherent.
You work for us?
I do not.
Okay. Who do you work for?
Marine Corps Embassy Security Group.
Okay.
So I'm a Navy corpsman down there.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Yep.
And we have.
Did you hear what he said? Let's listen to that one more time.
Started assessing the gentleman.
And did he say anything?
He didn't say anything. Didn't know what was happening. Thought Obama was still the president. That was 2022. So it's a little incoherent.
You work for us?
I do not.
Okay. Who do you work for?
Marine Corps Embassy Security Group.
Okay.
So I'm a Navy corpsman down there.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
The off-duty paramedic says Mustafa thinks he's in 2021. Mustafa is dealing with a concussion. He doesn't know where he's at. But you've got Investigator Romero telling the child that Mustafa fled, ran away, left your 5-year-old baby sister to bleed to death. That they could have saved her, but Mustafa ran away. And then you walk this child in a forensic interview. And when you watch the forensic interview, this child is saying the opposite of what actually happened on that day. How do I know that? You don't have to take my word for it. There's a Google Nest video inside the apartment. You've weaponized this child. You've turned him against Mustafa. And now you want to use this child as a witness? Where is Julie Carey with NBC4 from this level of abuse? Is this not child abuse? Or whatever it takes, even if it takes weaponizing and engaging in child abuse, whatever it takes, you just got to get Mustafa. Oh, this is a vehicle accident. Now we got to muddy up the water even if we're weaponizing the children. You know, I'll tell you something that is really disturbing. Officers that get on the scene is talking about being briefed about Mustafa. Watching Mustafa, they already know Mustafa. And then you ask yourself, that's disturbing. I mean, Mustafa is in and out of consciousness. He's laying in front of his vehicle. And you've got officers that are talking about being briefed about Mustafa. Let's watch this body cam.
Hey, I talked to Grantham on the other one, and he said that it looked like. So we're good. We're good.
Sorry.
No.
You next time.
Hey, can I be honest with you? I don't even know that cat. I do now. I remember it now that it was brought up.
He says, I've been briefed about that cat. He knows Mustafa. He's been briefed about Mustafa. That's interesting. And then you've got another officer that already knows Mustafa. He's watching Mustafa. He's watching his girlfriend. He's watching the kids.
Hey. I don't know if he's going to make it through there. We should have just flipped him around. Yeah? You don't remember his name?
Mustafa is his name.
Mustafa.
I called Duplessis. I got his name, mom's name, and kid's name. That's the dead one.
You already know Mustafa. And then you ask yourself, who is Mustafa? What is going on that officers are talking about being briefed about Mustafa? They already know Mustafa. Children are being weaponized against Mustafa. A vehicle is chopped up and staged. A dash camera that's cut, muted. Statements that are falsified. A case that's sealed. And then when you find out that this is the guy that was suing the police, he had over $500,000 lawsuit against the police. This is Mustafa in 2018. The police in 2018 raid the house, arrest Mustafa, and then turn around and say, oops, we messed up. What do you mean you messed up? They raided the house without a warrant, arrested Mustafa, and then they turn around, charge Mustafa with assault by mob, and then turn around and say, oops, we messed up. Mustafa has sued the police, arrested Mustafa, falsely charge him, and then dropping the charges, raiding the house, and then you want to turn around and say, oops, we messed up? Mustafa had over $500,000 lawsuit against the police. This is a video from the 2018 lawsuit. In 2018, the police raided the house, arrested Mustafa, charged Mustafa with assault by mob, and then turns around, drop all the charges. I mean, they took over the house without a warrant. And then turn around. Oops, we messed up. Well, Mustafa had a $500,000 lawsuit that dragged all the way to the vehicle accident. Now, when you see this officer that show up and say, we've been briefed about Mustafa, we've been watching Mustafa. Yeah, Mustafa was suing them for $500,000. And now Mustafa gets in a vehicle accident, and they're taking advantage of a vehicle accident. And you don't have to take my word for it. The whole entire file is on the internet. I mean, this is a video where...
So, we're trying...
The vehicle... This is a picture of the vehicle. After the accident... This is a vehicle inside the police department. For the love of God, someone explain to me, why is the police department crushing and staging this vehicle? I mean, at the time, the defense attorney that we found out later that he's working for the police, Casey Stevens, is trying to tell you this is part of the extraction effort. What do you mean? Bystanders pulled everybody out of the vehicle. Everybody was already out of the vehicle. This is a picture where everybody is already out of the vehicle. But here, inside the police department, you're chopping away at the vehicle. And then they turn around and tell you, well, we were trying to get the computer inside the vehicle. Wait a minute. So you crush the whole entire vehicle to get the computer out? What are you talking about? For all the mechanics out there, when a person brings you a vehicle that has a problem with the computer inside the car, to replace that computer inside the vehicle, do you crush the vehicle like this to replace the computer? Does that make sense for any mechanic out there? I mean, look at what they're doing to the vehicle. You can't hide behind, oh, we wanted to get the computer. No, you're crushing and staging the vehicle. Specifically, when inside the hospital, Mustafa is telling you, this vehicle just came out of a shop. There was something wrong with it. I picked it up from the shop. It's supposed to be everything perfect. I don't know what happened. And then you find out when you inspect the vehicle and look at the computer inside the vehicle, Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. That there's brake failure. You're going to chop up at the vehicle? That's interesting.
We're kind of confused how the crash happened because according to witnesses, you were going straight and all of a sudden you just made like a hard left turn. You turned from another car.
I don't know what happened exactly.
Okay.
You know, my car was really messed up at the shop. But
how long ago was that?
They just got my tie rods installed.
Okay. When was that?
Just not too long ago. I just got the car from a transmission shop because the transmission was out. And then they replaced my tie rods and what else did they replace?
Okay.
Upper, lower. I mean, no, it was like other stuff in the components of the car.
How long ago did you get it back? Like a week ago, a month ago?
I just got it back. Let me see. I'm trying to think what it's like. It's not a week ago.
Like a couple days?
No. I've had it parked for like a month at a time. Like I wouldn't drive it much unless I'm going to the store and coming back, like up the street and coming back.
Okay.
But I don't know what happened.
Okay. So
does it make sense that immediately this is what the vehicle looks like after the accident? I mean, Mustafa tells them, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened. There was something wrong with the car. I took it to the shop. They fixed it. They gave it back to me. Immediately, they start chopping away at the vehicle. That makes sense to anybody? Huh. If I didn't know any better, they're crushing and staging the vehicle. I mean, guess what pictures is the jury going to see? They're not going to see this picture. You and I weren't going to have access to these pictures. Remember, this file is sealed by Commonwealth Amy Ashworth. The jury is going to get these pictures. This is a picture of a vehicle crushed and staged. They crushed it all the way to the frame. They bent it here, and they want to make it and look like a head-on collision. Specifically, when the officer on scene, the investigator, is talking about that Mustafa cleared all the vehicles, made it to the fourth lane, and the SUV is the one that turned into him. That body cam is sealed. You don't know about it. I don't know about it. But now that it's leaked, we actually get to see investigator Robert Drum talking about what actually happened. This is a body cam where Robert Drum is on the scene.
Stories.
All right.
Stories.
What you thinking, police?
Trying to find where they spun.
Seems like, yeah. That's a smart play. It's a dead end.
Because the damage is on the right, which caused them to flip that way. So.
And then it finally broke off with soup.
So that's her.
They're coming in sideways.
Yep.
Gets popped, rotates.
And she just rolls backwards.
So here's the question: which way did they? Because she comes straight, she hits.
She would have turned into it.
Is that it?
The only way this vehicle accident would happen is the SUV would have turned into him. Mustafa cleared all the vehicle, made it to the fourth lane, and the SUV turned into him. You know, I found it really interesting that 2.5 years into this case, and the prosecutor is blocking this vehicle to be reconstructed. There's a judge order to inspect the vehicle. We hired an independent expert. I paid $5,000, hired an independent expert. There's a judge order to reconstruct the vehicle, and there's a body cam where the investigator, the independent expert, gets on the scene, is getting ready to reconstruct the vehicle, and the investigator who falsified Mustafa's statement, Robert Drum, tells this independent expert, he says, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy says you cannot touch Mustafa's vehicle or the SUV. Wait a minute. There's a judge order to reconstruct this vehicle accident. Why are you blocking him from reconstructing this vehicle accident? And he tells him, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy said so. I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. It's on a body cam. 2.5 years into it, they haven't reconstructed this vehicle. By law, Mustafa can hire an independent expert. This independent expert that went along with what is going on, this company, is on a body cam. This actually happened on a body cam. We have that body cam. We've leaked it. Now, are we going to hire an independent expert to reconstruct this vehicle? Of course we are. I mean, they blocked our effort to do so, and it's been 2.5 years. Mustafa has a new defense attorney and is going to hire an independent expert to go in and reconstruct this vehicle. Obviously, we don't trust this company. This independent expert that went along with what they told him. It's on a body cam. So we don't have to, it's not a debate what they've done. Mustafa's defense attorney is going to hire another company to go in and reconstruct this vehicle. You know, I'll tell you what they're terrified from is on that body cam, what you find they've done. Investigator Robert Drum downloaded a PDF format from the data inside Mustafa's vehicle. And what they're doing is they're hiding the steering angle. When you look at the data inside Mustafa's vehicle, it's missing the steering angle. It's missing the steering angle from his vehicle, and it's missing the steering angle from the SUV. You know how easy it is to get to the bottom of what actually happened? But they omitted the steering angle. They're terrified that the vehicle is going to get inspected. Well, we're going to get this vehicle inspected. This prosecutor is scrambling, is terrified. Mustafa's defense attorney is fighting through the courts to hire an independent expert to download the SD card. He shouldn't have to fight through the courts. I mean, if this prosecutor has nothing to hide, she should allow the independent expert, the digital forensic expert, to go in and inspect the SD card. 5 times she canceled the appointment. And now he has to put a motion through chambers and fight his way to get his independent expert to inspect the SD card. I ask everybody to reach out to NBC4, Julie Carey. This is Julie Carey. Let's Google her really quick so that way we all know who we're talking about. Julie Carey. This is Julie Carey. There we go. There we go. That's Julie Carey. Her cell phone number, Julie Carey's cell phone number. Julie Carey with NBC4 cell phone number is 202-359-8997. Julie Carey's cell phone number is 202-359-8997. I want you to reach out to Julie Carey and ask Julie Carey, why is she not updating you on the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? Specifically, why is she not telling you that the children have been weaponized by the police department? Now, we all watched Julie Carey with Mustafa's brother, Mohammed, on video show her the forensic interviews. Now, I have another video that we showed Julie Carey where the police department allowed the ex-boyfriend in the hospital, took pictures of 5-year-old Empress in her condition, went to a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old, and is going around showing them pictures of his little sister, of 5-year-old Empress. The ex-boyfriend took a picture of 5-year-old Empress in the hospital and goes to the children, and he's showing them the condition of 5-year-old Empress. And he's telling them, Mustafa did it on purpose. This is what he did to your sister. Let's watch, imagine, the 10-year-old talk about what the ex-boyfriend did. And the question is, why is the police department allowing the ex-boyfriend to weaponize the children before they're walked into a forensic interview? You've got investigator Romero telling children that Mustafa ran away, left your 5-year-old baby sister to bleed to death. You've got this ex-boyfriend taking pictures of 5-year-old Empress. Let's watch the forensic interview. If you go on YouTube under Not Another Boring Podcast, so this is the YouTube channel, Not Another Boring Podcast, there's a playlist called Police Body Cam Mustafa Al-Jazari. If you open that playlist, you go down to Exhibit 33. All these videos are numbered as exhibits. In this video, this is a forensic interview. You go to timestamp 2739.
Yes, sir.
The question is, why is Julie Carey not showing and not telling this community that these children have been weaponized by the police department. Why is she not telling this community? Is she protecting this police department? That's a good question. I mean, she reported on the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, but she's not updating this community. She ran with the lie. She ran with the narrative out of the police department who lied in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, and now she's not updating the community. So you go over to Exhibit 33. Let's see.
And then I hear
And then timestamp 2739.
the doctor say my mom didn't make it. They died at the same time me and my brother started.
This is 10-year-old Imagine, who in a forensic interview is talking about the ex-boyfriend. So Mustafa is not allowed and is not being updated on 5-year-old Empress. The father of 5-year-old Empress, there's a phone call, there's a body cam where he's being blocked by investigator Romero, who weaponized the children. The father is begging to be next to his children, but investigator Romero is blocking that father from being next to the children. And then you find out what is going on, that father is being blocked, Mustafa is being blocked. You realize that investigator Romero and the ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford, and the person that took the children is the neighbor, Tanisha Coleman. They're weaponizing the children before they walk them into a forensic interview. And in the forensic interview, the children are talking about it. Let's watch the forensic interview.
Crying, my
So Mustafa is being blocked. Divine Jones, the father of the children, is being blocked. But the ex-boyfriend is allowed into the hospital. How does that make any sense? And he's taking pictures of 5-year-old Empress, and he goes to the kids and shows them the condition that Empress, only to weaponize the children in the process. Let's watch the forensic interview.
brother didn't know she didn't make it. He thought that someone. I said, "Where's Empress?" She said she's on a life support machine. Then Glenn tried to tell me how her skull was cracked, how she wasn't gonna make it. I didn't believe it. But then Nene said her skull was cracked, so I kind of fell on the sidewalk crying. And then so we went into this house. I couldn't stop crying, but his family kept saying, "Be strong, man." But I couldn't. It wasn't something like that easy to stop crying of.
Right.
Because my mom didn't make it, and my little sister was in the hospital with her skull cracked open, and they said her, like, you know how a skull looks, right? Mm-hmm. She said the top half was split open.
Who told you that?
Glenn.
Glenn.
And then my little sister's a brain.
Glenn?
My mom.
The forensic interview is telling Imagine, 10-year-old Imagine, who told you that? Who told you that your sister, your 5-year-old sister's skull is open? He says, Glenn Ford. And then he goes on and he tells you that he showed me a picture of her.
Text.
Okay, so Glenn was there as well?
And he said, "Call me Bob," in front of Moses, so he doesn't know who I am.
Ah, okay. So and this was at whose house?
So Mustafa is blocked from being updated or being there. The father, Devon Jones, is blocked from being there. And in the background is being blocked by who? Oh, the person that's weaponizing the children. Investigator Romero. We have a phone call where the father is actively being blocked. What is he telling the children? Mustafa ran away, left your 5-year-old baby sister to bleed to death. We could have saved her if it wasn't for Mustafa running away. And then the police are talking to Glenn Ford and are telling him, Glenn Ford, we need you. We need to get our ducks in a row. We need to get Mustafa off the street. Interesting. And then they allow Glenn Ford into the hospital, take picture of 5-year-old Empress, and he goes to the children, and he's weaponizing the children by showing them pictures of 5-year-old Empress and the condition that she's in. And what are they telling the children? Mustafa did this on purpose. Mustafa ran away. Look at what they've done to your sister. And Julie Carey is pretending like it didn't happen? Why is Julie Carey not updating this community that the police department engaged in child abuse? Why is Julie Carey not updating the community that the police department weaponized the children in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? Is that why the chief of police is more than comfortable charging Mustafa with premeditated murder? Why? Because investigator Romero weaponized the children against Mustafa? I mean, this is what's coming out of the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. You watch these forensic interviews, and then you watch the Google Nest video inside the apartment. The children are given a narrative that's completely opposite to what actually took place on that day. And you want to tell me the children have not been coached and weaponized against Mustafa? They're terrified that the file is leaked on the internet, that this community is watching the Google Nest videos inside the apartment. This community is watching the forensic interview leaked out on the internet. And these are children. You can lie to children, but children will tell you what is going on. Why do you think these forensic interviews are sealed? You think these forensic interviews are sealed to protect the children? I mean, look at what they've done to the children. Children that just lost their mother in a tragic vehicle accident. Every piece of evidence show this is a car accident. Look at what they've done to the children. They're telling them that Mustafa ran away, left your baby sister to bleed to death. You've got the ex-boyfriend allowed into the hospital to take pictures of a 5-year-old baby that's fighting for her life. Weaponize the rest of the children against Mustafa. You want to tell me the police department care about these children? Where is Julie Carey? Does she not have an obligation to this community to honestly report on the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? Or is she in the pocket of the police department? Is she there to protect the police department? Well, it's a valid question. Why hasn't she updated the community? We're watching a video where she's being told about children that have been weaponized in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. I ask everybody to reach out to Julie Carey with NBC4 and ask her, ma'am, you ran with a narrative out of the police department. Clearly, we're watching that the police department falsified this whole entire case. The file is on the internet. Body cam document that show this is a vehicle accident. Children have been weaponized in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Why have you not updated us on the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? Now that the file is leaked, we're all watching the same thing. Reach out to Julie Carey with NBC4. Her phone number is 202-359-8997. And on that note, I leave you with the video where Julie Carey is being told about the police department and supplied with the forensic interview that the children have been weaponized in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Thank you for being here. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa, through the police body cam, Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope.
Mother and sister died.
That's bad if it's true. I haven't heard that. But I'm sure if it happened and if the defense attorney hears that, the defense attorney will exploit that fact.
Okay. It's a very short clip, you know, to be honest with you. And that is child abuse. For a detective, the detectives fully know that Mustafa was airlifted to the hospital. They know that. They know that they investigated a DUI. They cleared him after drawing his blood, that there's no alcohol, no drugs. And now for the same detectives to tell the children that your sister died because Mustafa crashed his car, killed your mom, and then he left your little sister to die.
Well, Ken, I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that.
That's child abuse.
So no one should be putting video of these kids in TikTok.
Exactly. But when you're cornered in this position, They are nonetheless, there are witnesses that have been tampered with. I mean, okay.
If that is true, they'll come out at trial.
You know, there's no there's no difference between the mafia when they.
I need to get back into court.
Yes,
I've got to do some things
I
on this
understand,
case
but
today. So
this is it.
When they got into the car crash, the detective said he jumped out and ran, left my baby sitting there. And if he just thought to bring her to the hospital, maybe she would have made it, but she didn't because he decided to be a coward, and now she's gone. And now all I have is my 2 brothers. She was the sweetest. She would never even hurt a fly. She was citizen too. 25. And my mom's gone. Now she's gone. It's because of one man that I trusted. My mom kept on telling me he's a good guy. I kept on saying, okay, alright. I told her I had my suspicions, and I should have went with my gut. I knew something wasn't right, and I still believed her, and that's why I got caught.